Broadcasting live from Dar es Salaam, this is TBC News. Our top stories tonight. Lawyers urged to use their profession to accelerate economic growth. Ends with massive global business deals. Good evening, I am Caroline Maleo. You can also follow us live on our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. The President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, has directed the government lawyers to use their legal expertise, safeguard Tanzania's sovereignty, protect national resources, and address emerging domestic and international threats. She issued the directive while opening the annual general meeting of the Government Lawyers Association in Arusha earlier today. Here are more details.
Government lawyers from across the country are here in Arusha for the annual general meeting under the theme Justice, Responsibility and the Rule of Law as the foundation for the implementation of Tanzania's Development Vision 2050. Opening the meeting, President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan directs government lawyers to remain vigilant by identifying potential threats early, providing timely legal advice, and ensuring that national laws continue to protect the country's sovereignty, citizens' rights, and strategic resources.
It is important for you to pay close attention to identifying risks at an early stage, providing timely and accurate advice, and doing so with good intentions. It is also your responsibility to ensure that the country is protected and governed on strong legal foundation. The laws we enact and those we intend to formulate must help safeguard our independence, the rights of the citizens, and our national resources.
The president also says Tanzania continues to make progress in promoting and protecting human rights while emphasizing that government lawyers must uphold professionalism, integrity, and patriotism in the discharge of their duties.
The pen of any lawyer, when used responsibly, can prevent losses before they occur. It can provide protection before challenges to the government, and it can guide the government in making better decisions that serve the interest of the nation. The protection you are expected to provide is through offering legal advice with patriotism, integrity, and commitment while placing national interest above personal interests.
Waziri wa Katiba na Sheria Dr. Juma Homera amesema wananchi zaidi ya milioni 4 wamenufaika na kampeni ya msaada wa kisheria ya Samia Legal Aid, huku akiahidi kufanya marekebisho ya sheria kinzani kufikia dira ya taifa.
Sheria zote ambazo zitakuwa zina ukinzano,
any laws that may conflict with the implementation of Vision 2050 will be revised and amended in collaboration with the institutions established under the government of the United Republic of Tanzania. Our profession has a direct responsibility and a significant role to play in the development of our nation.
Furthermore, President of the Government Lawyers Association, Bava Natori, says the translation of 435 laws into Kiswahili will improve public understanding of the law and strengthen access to justice.
Kupitia jitihada na juhudi za mawakili wa serikali pamoja na taasisi zote za serikali.
Through the commitment and efforts of government lawyers, together with all government institutions, we have successfully completed the translation of 433 principal laws into the Kiswahili language.
More than 200 specialists, researchers, and policymakers from Africa and beyond are in Dar es Salaam for the Sub-Saharan Neuro-Oncology Society Scientific Conference to discuss advances in the prevention and treatment of brain cancers and neurological studies. Opening the conference, the Vice President, Ambassador Dr. Emmanuel Nchimbi, highlighted Tanzania's progress in the health sector and the government's commitment to expanding specialized care. Here are more details.
Vice President Ambassador Dr. Emmanuel Nchimbi says Tanzania has made significant progress in strengthening the health sector through continued investment in modern medical technology, specialized healthcare services, and skilled professionals. He says cancer treatment services have expanded beyond the Ocean Road Cancer Institute, with 3 regional referral hospitals and 3 private hospitals now providing radiotherapy services. The government has also strengthened radiology and diagnostic imaging by installing 7 additional MRI machines, bringing the country's total to 13.
For over 30 years, cancer treatment has been centralized at the Ocean Road Cancer Institute. But presently, 3 zonal hospitals and 3 private hospitals have started radiation therapy treatment. Furthermore, the government has greatly improved the radiology and imaging services at both national and zonal levels, having installed 7 new MRI machines, making a total of 13 MRI machines.
Despite these gains, the Vice President notes that Tanzania continues to face a rising burden of neurological diseases and brain cancers driven by lifestyle changes, stroke and traumatic brain injuries caused by road traffic accidents. He says the government will continue investing in modern medical equipment and infrastructure, increase the training of neurosurgeons, oncologists and other specialists, support research and innovation, and strengthen public-private partnerships to ensure equitable access to specialized healthcare.
First, we will persevere in our commitment to training and development human capital, aiming to increase the number of specialized medical professionals, including neurologists, neurosurgeons, radiologists, oncologists, and others. Second, continued improvement of our health infrastructure and technology, encompassing equipping our referral hospitals with state-of-art neurosurgical facilities, advanced diagnostic tools, and essential critical care units to support the intricate procedures.
The 3-day conference hosted by the Muhimbili Orthopedic Institute brings together more than 200 specialists, researchers and policymakers from Africa and beyond to discuss advances in neuro-oncology and strategies for improving access to specialized care for patients with neurological cancers.
We remain here in Dar es Salaam, where the 50th Dar es Salaam International Trade Fair, famously known as Sabasaba, has officially come to a close, with the government describing the event as a key platform for promoting trade, innovation and investment. Closing the exhibition, the President of Zanzibar and Chairman of the River Revolutionary Council, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, reaffirmed Tanzania's commitment to helping local businesses seize opportunities in both the region and in the global markets. Here is a story by Rehema Sababili, read to you by Teddy Mpanyanga.
Addressing participants, Dr. Mwinyi says that over the past 5 decades, the Dar es Salaam International Trade Fair has evolved into an important platform for promoting innovation, technology, transfer, business partnerships, and economic diplomacy. He also reaffirms the government's commitment to supporting Tanzanians in taking advantage of emerging international markets, including the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfTA, and professional access for selected African products to the Chinese market.
Zote serikali inaendelea kusimamia na kuweka mazingira mazuri na wezeshi.
That is why the government continues to provide leadership and create a favorable, enabling environment to sustain positive outcomes in the country's trade and industrial sectors, while securing a brighter future for our nation. On the market front, we have continued to place a strong emphasis on encouraging Tanzanians to take advantage of many opportunities available, including the African Continental Free Trade Area and China's Zero Tariff Market Access Initiative. The goal is to expand our trade, and I would therefore like to use this opportunity to encourage all business people to seize these valuable opportunities to access markets for goods produced here in Tanzania.
On the other hand, Minister for Industry and Trade, Judith Kapinga, says the exhibition continues to connect producers with domestic and international markets, while Tanzania Trade Development Authority, TanTrade Director General Latifa Hamis Mohammed highlights that preliminary figures indicate on the on-spot sales reached 3.89 billion Tanzanian shillings during the fair.
Ni matumaini yangu kwamba
it is my hope that this golden jubilee of the Sabasaba Trade Fair will mark the beginning of a new era for trade, a new chapter for Sabasaba that is more competitive, deliver greater results, and creates even greater opportunities within the African and global economy.
Maonyesho haya yamechangia kwa kiasi kikubwa.
In terms of exports, these trade fairs have made a significant contribution to expanding access to international markets for exhibitors. About 61.3% of product exhibitors benefited commercially from their participation. They also secured export inquiries or orders worth 1.25 billion Tanzanian shillings. These figures are as of yesterday, and the numbers continue to grow. This demonstrates the trade fair's strong effectiveness in facilitating international business connections and promoting global trade partnership.
According to preliminary statistics, 61.3% of exhibitors established or strengthened international business networks during the exhibition, while business orders worth more than 1.125 billion Tanzanian shillings were secured.
And to help us unpack the key takeaways and the broader economic impact of this year's 50th Dar es Salaam International Trade Fair, commonly known as Sabasaba, we're joined live in the studio by economic analyst Dr. Hildebrand Shayo. Dr. Hildebrand Shayo, welcome to TBC News tonight.
Thank you.
Dr. Hildebrand is also an investment analyst. We're honored to have you tonight.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Hildebrand, today we witnessed the closing ceremony of the 50th Dar es Salaam International Trade Fair exhibition. The exhibitions that are, according to TanTrade, has facilitated business opportunities worth over 129 trillion Tanzanian shillings. Now, from an economic perspective, Dr. Hildebrand, what does this milestone tell us about the role of Sabasaba in actually driving the nation's economic growth, trade, and investment in general? Take it.
Well, the role of Sabasaba, that has come to an end today by being closed by the President of Zanzibar, is going to help Tanzania expand its market internationally. That's number one. But number two is going to attract domestic and foreign investment, which now is going to expand production within various sectors. Number three is going to create business-to-business partnership. As you heard, the Deputy Minister for Trade was saying that there's been a deals that has been signed or that are in the process of being signed, which is going to increase the ability for Tanzanian manufacturers to be able to penetrate the international market. But also it's going to promote what is called made in Tanzania products, because that's how our products can be competitively found in the international market. But also it's going to support the SME and the entrepreneurship, because these are the sectors that are the engine of the economy. But also it's going to stimulate industrial development. And here we are going to generate employment and income, but also going to create a base for widening. It's going to strengthening trade integration. You remember we are within the East African community, we are within SADC, and we are within the African Continental Free Trade Area. So Sabasaba and what has been displayed and the deals that has been made since it started until it comes to its close is going to advance Tanzania economic diplomacy, which is going to play a key role towards our 2050 vision, where we are looking now to have an economy of about 1 trillion shillings.
Definitely. Now, Dr. Hildebrand, with all the impacts now that you have explained that Sabasaba indeed has created for the country's economy and actually has positioned the country in a strong position internationally and in the region, and with all that you have explained. Now, what should Tanzania now do to ensure that the economic benefits now that have been generated from Sabasaba actually translate into long-term growth for the local businesses, especially the small and medium-sized enterprises, and ultimately help to improve, the livelihoods of ordinary Tanzanians?
There are key areas where the government now or the government agencies need to focus on to ensure that all the benefits that has been aligned after the exhibition are sustainable. Number one is to establish what I would call a post-Sabasaba business facilitation program, which will allow now the deals, the network that has been generated to be maintained and sustained, but also to improve the environment for SMEs, small and medium enterprises, to access affordable financing. And remember here, there is a credit guarantee which is being created within the central bank, which will allow now small and medium enterprises to be able to access finance. But there is another important issue, is strengthening the quality of the goods, the standard, marketing and branding, because these are the key areas where we now need to do. I was in Harare last 2 weeks ago, and we visited Tanzanian embassy in Harare, and one of the issues that came out from our High Commissioner in Zimbabwe was saying, we are looking for Tanzanian producers to improve quality, packaging and marketing. So those are the issues that we need to put forward, but also to develop SME export business program, because majority of the SMEs, much as they are doing good, producing organic products, perhaps they won't be able to access the market. You remember in May, China gave 0 tariffs for Tanzania, among other African countries, to be able to export it to China market without any tariffs. So you need to have a good quality. You need to meet the standards. We need to establish trust, because majority of the businesses, they end up not having that trust, and then they end up losing market. But we need also to promote industrial clusters, because this is where the SMEs that were along Sabasaba will be able to generate and market their product. But importantly, accelerate digital commerce, because of helping these businesses to be able to integrate easily, but also to be formally recognized, but also to be able to pay tax. So, and link SMEs with the large investors and reduce cost of doing business. So strengthening public-private partnership will help a lot to ensure that whatever deals that has been created position Tanzanian businesses, manufacturers, and those who are really adding value to be able to be competitive in the regional market and around the globe. Yep.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hildebrand Shayo, for all the explanations. Indeed, we have to strengthen the public-private partnerships. And with all that you have explained, thank you so much. We'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
And on to the next story, the latest escalation between the United States and Iran has once again drawn global attention, not only because of its geopolitical implications, but also because of its potential impact on the world economy. As tensions rise, concerns over oil supplies through the Strait of Hormuz, fears of rising fuel prices and inflation are actually growing. Chadim Parinyanga looks at how the conflict could affect economies around the world. Before we speak to an economics analyst, Dr. Hildebrand Shayo, for further insight.
The relationship between the United States and Iran has been marked by the cycles of confrontation, diplomacy, and renewed tensions. But while the conflict may seem geographically distant, its effects are increasingly being felt far beyond the Middle East. The latest escalation has once again put the world's energy markets on edge. Fresh military exchanges between Washington and Tehran around the strategically important Strait of Hormuz have renewed fears over the security of one of the world's busiest oil shipping routes. Roughly 1/5 of the world's seaborne oil passes through this narrow waterway, making it a critical artery for the global economy. Whenever tensions rise in the Gulf, markets react almost immediately. Traders begin pricing in the risk of supply disruptions, pushing up the cost of crude oil even before any actual shortage occurs. Following the latest attacks, Brent crude prices climbed by more than 4% as investors responded to growing uncertainty. And history has shown that oil markets dislike uncertainty. Even the possibility of disruption can send prices soaring, affecting everything from transport costs to food prices. Countries that import most of their fuel, including many across Africa, often feel the impact first. Higher global oil prices can translate into more expensive fuel imports, increased transport costs, rising inflation, and added pressure on the household budgets. Analysts say that even hostilities ease, prices may not immediately return to previous levels. Shipping companies, insurers, and fuel buyers often remain cautious, while government and business rebuild strategic reserves. That means consumers could continue paying higher prices for weeks or even months after the fighting subsidies. Yet every crisis also creates winners. Oil exporting nations generally earn more revenue when prices rise. Major energy companies can benefit from stronger profits, while countries with large strategic petroleum reserves may gain greater leverage in stabilizing supplies. As the U.S. and Iran continue to exchange threats and military action, the biggest question may no longer be just about geopolitics, but about the price the rest of the world will pay. Tedin Paranyanga, TBC News.
So with oil prices once again under pressure, should consumers expect fuel costs to remain elevated? Is there any realistic chance for the prices to ease in the coming months? And who stand to gain or lose the most from this prolonged period of uncertainty? To help us unpack these questions, we are joined once again with an economic analyst, Dr. Hildebrand Shayo. Dr. Shayo, the renewed tensions now between Iran and the United States have once again raised concerns across the global markets. Now, from an economic perspective, what does this escalation mean now for the world economy, and how could it affect Tanzania, particularly in terms of trade, in terms of inflation, and in terms of the cost of living of the people in the country in general?
Well, this new escalation between United States of America and Iran is going to have a huge impact in terms of global economy. One is going to cause high oil and energy prices. There's no way we can run away from that. Two, global inflationary pressure. Here, higher fuel costs will raise the cost of manufacturing, air transport, shipping, and input that goes up to a level of agricultural. Then it's going to cause what we call slow global economic growth, because World Bank and IMF have already stated that if the war continues, targeted GDP among countries is going to slow down. That means there's going to be an impact on employment. There's going to be an impact also on revenue that can be mobilized internally from the taxes to be able to finance the government expenditure. But there will be an issue on financial market volatility. Here, the market and stock market will be affected. Stronger US dollar, but gold also will go up. The price of gold will go up because gold is taken as a place where people can, or businesses can hide or can have their reserve assured that things will be. So within these dynamics, there is uncertainty, which will cut across many sectors. And here, as you said, there will be losers and winners. And for Tanzania, we should be expecting rising fuel prices, high inflation, increase in cost of living, high business cost, but importantly, pressure on the trade balance. All these are going to affect agriculture inputs, public finance, and etc. So with these dynamics, we are not an island. We must import most of the fuel. So for the goods that determine or depend on importation, because of the rising of the insurance companies, because of the uncertainty within the international capital movement, Tanzania will be affected just like any other countries.
And Dr. Hildebrand, does it mean that these major nations, you know, the US and the Middle East part that are involved in this tension, do they not understand the impact that they are causing on the world? You know, now Tanzanians are expecting, you know, and they're hoping for the fuel prices to come down. But it's like this tension is, with how you explained, it's not going to go down. And the impact keeps on affecting the continent of Africa, the country, Tanzania, and the world at large.
Well, the world had expected the diplomacy will have taken shape, and the two countries which they had negotiated to come down. But because of the issue of the nuclear and some of the 11th or 12th conditionalities that were put forward by Iran, and the Americans were not ready to forego some of these. For example, Iran said they cannot stop their nuclear processing for energy use. Or Iran said, we want all the American bases within the region to be closed. Now, those are some things that cannot be done within a minute. So, and there is the interest of American investment along the region. So Americans understand. The Iranians understand, Israel understands, and the globe understand. But when the big powers wants to achieve a certain leverage, there's no way for us as a small countries, economies are small, these guys are powerful economically, they see the challenges. But I'm sure the UN will come up with the means of trying to see how this escalation is not going to affect more economic challenge. Because you remember recently, we had, when it started, even the oil prices went up. And there are other countries, people are told to work from home. But here, thanks God, our country, our president or our government decided to give a subsidy. So the price of fuel did not go as much as the other countries. I know there are countries where they were really crying of the price going up twice. But for us, economic activities were just going on and on and on. But if this escalation continues, there's no way. We will have to come back to the table and see how we can manage our economies and where maybe perhaps we need to tighten a bit to be able to cope with the dynamics caused by this war.
Indeed, maybe it is time now for Africa, for Tanzania to look into.
With this kind of tension, there are winners and losers.
Yeah.
Here the winners will be the oil importing, exporting countries, manufacturers, energy companies that are doing business, defense manufacturing, because they are manufacturing all that. But also for us as a Tanzania, which we are now leading by producing gold. If the prices goes up, because when you have these wars, some people, some companies tend to buy more gold. We are going to see a lot of prices going up. Our country, if we put our housing in order properly, we are going to be able to benefit from the short-term price that has gone up. And that means it will also attract more investment within our region. So there's the winners, there are losers, depending how one look at it.
Indeed, there are winners and losers. Thank you so much, Dr. Hildebrand Shayo, for your time and for the contribution that you have provided. TBC1 viewers, on that note, we are ending the TBC News Bulletin for tonight. Do not miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I am Caroline Maleo, wishing you an awesome night.